UFL Jim here to welcome you to the UFL Show with UFL Jim. Let's fucking get into it. I'm so rock hard right now.
God dog it! God dog it! Fucking 2 missed tackles.
God bless America, guys. Where the is the headset guy?
That's crazy.
Today with UFL Jim. That would be me. I'm here to take you through everything involving the wonders that are the United Football League. First off, let's take a look back at week 6. We had a couple great matchups. The TV numbers were up. Everything was looking super sexy. I have a couple takeaways. Takeaway number 1, can anyone stop the Birmingham Stallions? I'm not so sure. The Stallions look like they're a horse ready to mount any team put in front of them. And I don't believe anyone is willing or able to put up a fight. Other takeaway, why are the kickers so good? Why are kickers in the United Football League so damn good? Yes, everyone is talking about Jake Bates, but he's not the only one. Every kicker in this league is so much better than we've seen in the USFL and even the XFL last year. It is crazy how good these kickers are. Excuse me. Other takeaways. What happened to the Renegades defense? Where has it gone? It was so good last year. XFL Jim was singing the praises of the defensive capabilities of the Arlington Renegades, and now they are a shell of their former selves. Is Jay Hayes responsible? Should he be locked away for crimes against defense? I don't know yet, but, the story's out. The jury's out. Maybe. Other takes. Who's the third best team in the UFL? Is it the Panthers? Is it the Brahmas? Is it the Defenders trying to make a run? Hopefully that gets cleared up in the next few weeks, but for now, we do not know. Other takes. Why can't the Renegades ever win? I know I'm harping on the Renegades, but they just keep finding new ways to lose. It's actually sad how this team keeps disappointing the fans in Arlington and honestly around the globe. They keep doing it in new spectacular ways. I foresee in week 7, maybe we see an overtime loss for the Arlington Renegades. Now onto the part of the show that everyone on Twitter cares about. That is the UFL Jim Power Rankings of the UFL from the previous week of United Football League action, UFL Edition. At number 8, we have the Memphis Showboats. That's right, the Showboats are at the bottom. They continue to disappoint. This offensive line is a sieve. I don't care who they put back there. It's disgusting. Even though their O-line performance this week was improved, guess what? This was Case Cookis' worst game, and the defense looked awful. This team cannot catch a break. They're terrible. They stink. Number 7, Arlington Renegades. Another, I just mentioned, they have found new ways to lose games. They seemingly have an infinite number of ways to lose games at their disposal. It's insane. At number 6, the Houston Roughnecks. Just don't like this team. Don't like the coach. Don't like the decision making. I don't like what they've kind of thrown out on the field. I don't like what the Houston Roughnecks are looking like right now. I don't like what the Houston Roughnecks represent right now. At number 5, it's the DC Defenders. Getting over San Antonio is a big one, and they looked well improved. The defense was better. The offense, maybe they're on the rise. Maybe the Defenders are sneaking right now. But it's to be seen. At number 4, the San Antonio Brahmas. That was the worst offensive performance from the Brahmas I've ever seen. Disgusting. Do better, San Antonio. Number 3 is the Michigan Panthers. They're kind of missing E.J. Perry. I guess Danny Etling has a better arm, but I still don't love this team. Obviously, they're going to be led by their defense, but they got to do something different. They're just not a fun team right now. They're not fun. I mean, Bates is fun. Bates is awesome. I'm baiting to Bates all day, every day. But other than that, this team doesn't have a lot for me to cheer for besides Bates and defense. At number 2, it's the St. Louis Battlehawks. They were hurt. They were battling injury, but damn it, they got it done. And that was like one of the lowest scoring sort of weird blowout, not blowouts that I've ever seen because St. Louis was never not going to win that game. Trust me, they were never not going to win that game. And at number 1, it's the Birmingham Stallions. Come on. They're horse fucking everybody. What are we even talking about here? They're literally taking their big old horse cocks in Birmingham and just shoving it down the UFL's throat. And honestly, kind of respect them for it. This is a huge dynasty at this point. Go Stallions. Like, mad respect. Mad respect to the Birmingham Stallions from UFL Jim. It's at this time that we take a look at what Investigator Jim has been digging into regarding the Memphis Showboats offensive line. Take it away, Investigator Jim. The Memphis Showboats. Some are dubbing them the worst offensive line in football history. Where did it all go wrong for Memphis? That's the latest case that I, Investigator Jim, have decided to take on. First off, we start with the group of linemen themselves. We have the leader of the line, the center, Jared Thomas. His previous stints that matter were with the Sea Dragons of Seattle in 2023 and the New Orleans Breakers before that in 2022. Neither of those teams were known for having a weak offensive line, so I decided to keep looking. Moving over to left tackle, the most important lineman on the field, many people say. Here we have Marcus Tatum, whose only relevant experience was with the New Orleans Breakers and Johnny Flips last year. That line wasn't crazy good, but it wasn't terrible either. It was far from the worst line in the USFL, and it was a far cry from what the Showboats have displayed in the first half of the UFL season this year, so I crossed him off my list too. Moving from there, we had the guards of Darren Paulo and Jordan McCray. Paulo comes from the Detroit Lions, where he spent a few years on the practice squad, while McCray has time on the Memphis Showboats last year, the Stallions in 2022, and the Tampa Bay Vipers in 2020. Perhaps it's Paulo's lack of spring football experience, or McCray's relationship and closeness to a coward such as Mark Trussman that is causing the issues in the Showboats line, but I think there was something more to it, so I had to dig deeper. That only left the right tackle, Jaron Jones, who spent time with the Memphis Showboats last year, the Bandits of Tampa Bay in 2022, and even the New York Guardians in 2020, and that's when it hit me, folks. Last year. It all comes back to the Memphis Showboats of last year. Who was the head coach? None other than Todd Haley, the biggest loser in football. So I started working towards my sources closest to Todd Haley. I started digging deep. I had to go deep under cover. And what did I find? Todd Haley has close relationships to a Wiccan colony in southwest Pennsylvania. And I believe that the Memphis Showboats are being placed under a curse by Todd Haley himself to continue sucking for them letting him go when the team is coming back again and again and again and replacing him with Johnny Flips. I think he placed a very strong spiritual curse of awfulness in the Liberty Bowl to decimate the Memphis Showboats. Then it was only a matter of figuring out, how are you going to remedy this situation? How are you going to fix the situation? How are you going to lift the curse? Well, there's only a few ways to do this. Number one, human sacrifice, which I think they might be attempting with Case Cookus at the moment, but I don't recommend that approach. I would go with the approach that you have to have an instant classic game. You have to have the best game of the season in the Liberty Bowl. That's the only way that the Memphis Showboats are going to get over this hump, get over this curse, and finally put Todd Haley way in the rear view. They need to have a great game. Not just any great game with how powerful the energies of this curse are. They need to have the best game of the season in the Liberty Bowl. Then the line will get better, the team will start winning, fans will come, everything will be on the rise for Memphis once this happens. Until then, they're stuck with this curse. Investigator Jim, out. Thank you, Investigator Jim. It always amazes me how he's able to get right down to the core of the issue. Now, before we get into our guest, I'd like to take a look at what I believe the broadcast over at ESPN and Fox can do to make the UFL an even better product than the perfection it is. First off, they need to find a perfect balance. They're still working on finding the balance between letting the coaches speak, letting us hear the players and the coaches during play calls versus letting the announcers kind of just talk and babble and whatnot. They sometimes the announcers overdo things. Sometimes they just really hammer in, letting the coaches and players speak where we're not getting a full idea of what's going on. But sometimes they hit the perfect equilibrium where it's just pure sexual football energy. And you can hear the crowd noise, and you can hear what the coaches are calling, and it's just, it just gets me hard thinking about it. I absolutely love it. If they can keep finding a balance of what works with the broadcast, they are going to just go to the moon, to the fucking Mars, to Saturn, to Jupiter. I don't care. They can go there. I think other things they need to do, they need to keep walking that tightrope when it comes to discussing gambling, because I don't give a shit about someone's opinion on gambling who isn't a good gambler. Like, Stormy's good. Other announcers, like, maybe mention the live total every once in a while. They have the spread and total flash on the like scorecard right there, which is perfect. Maybe just mention it every once in a while. Like, once a quarter's fine. You don't need to keep talking about it. I feel like they've gotten way better at it. That's just another thing. They need to keep walking that tightrope. You can talk about it to get the gamblers excited, but don't over talk about it. Talk about props, that's fun. You can just kind of throw it in every once in a while, but you don't need to make the whole broadcast about gambling. Next will be discovering and creating these awesome storylines. Like in week 7, we have A.J. McCarron heading back to Alabama versus the Birmingham Stallions, not as the hometown hero, but as a villain. Like, play that up. Get him in interviews. Get him to do some heel turn shit stuff. I want to see things like that. The Renegades are a crazy storyline right now. From first to worst, can they have a redemption tour? Maybe play into this. If they get a win, I would be going crazy in on this Renegades redemption arc. Guess what? They did it last year. No, they can't do it again this year. I'm just going to flat out say they probably can't do it again this year. But that doesn't mean you can't play into it. Make things interesting. Make things crazy. What about the Brahmas quarterback situation? They've had like 5 quarterbacks in 2 years. What's going on in San Antonio in the water that's making quarterbacks just fall apart for the Brahmas? There's got to be something. Maybe you talk about how crazy the Stallions run is. Maybe one of the best dynasties in professional sports we've ever seen. Why aren't we mentioning that more in the UFL on the broadcast? Like, I heard Joel Klatt talk about it once, but who gives a shit what Joel Klatt says? Make this a cool thing on social media, in the storylines. Create some, sprinkle a little WWE into it. I don't give a fuck. I'm not afraid to say it. Do it. Make the storylines something for fans to get interested in. And I'm always going to say it. More sideline interviews with people who actually mess up. Because we get the quarterbacks after they make a great play. We get the receivers or running backs or anything after a great play. I want to see the kicker that missed. I want to see the quarterback after an INT. I want to see a player after a missed tackle. Let's see the drama of the United Football League. Make that happen. I'm joined now by one Chase Lupine Fiasco Sessoms. A.K.A. whatever name he has posted right there, he changes it so damn often. Chase! A couple questions for you. I'm going to start you off easy. I'm going to work a little bit harder. Question number 1, sexiest coach in the UFL?
Ooh. How are you going to hit me with the hardest one first? Wade Phillips.
I don't know if it makes sense to me, but, to each their own. Question number 2 for you, sir. Because you are a man of horse and racing and so on and so forth, I figured I'd sprinkle in a couple of these. If you were a jockey and had to pick one team to be your horse, what team would that be?
The Battlehawks, because I feel like it's probably the more exciting horse to ride. Plus, it likely has wings. And that makes it a Pegasus as opposed to just like a stallion. So
it's so obvious, I don't even know why I asked that question. I'm sorry. Next question, however. If you were a horse and had to pick one team to be your jockey, what team would that be and why?
I want the tiniest person and tiniest possible. It's not going to be a Brahma. It's not going to be another horse and a stallion. It's definitely not going to be a boat. I think it's likely a panther.
I respect that answer.
Panthers are sleek. They're strong. They're fast.
All right.
Yeah.
Next question. You're down 17 points with 3 minutes, 23 seconds to go in the game. And you score. Do you A, go for 1, B,
Go
go
for
for
2,
C,
go for 3.
And do you kick off or go for the
4th and 12? I wish both things were utilized way more than they are.
Final question. I ask this question of anyone who comes on. What do you like to pair the UFL with? A nice wine, a nice bourbon. I prefer the Miller High Life, the champagne of beers, for instance. What do you like to pair? What do you like to have while you're enjoying some United Football League action?
Copious amounts of cannabis. Eat a lot of waffles, sometimes nachos.
Indeed.
Just whatever's around the house.
Enough! All right, folks, it's about time we take a look into the future of Week 7 of the UFL. And boy, what a week it's going to be. We have an incredible Saturday slate. Of course, I'm talking about the Memphis Showboats versus the Arlington Renegades. Who will be the bottom team in the league? It's going to be an absolute bloodbath. Whoever wins, everyone loses. The real game, of course, we're talking about is the Birmingham Stallions hosting the St. Louis Battlehawks, and what ought to be an incredible night of football. Really, it's the afternoon, but I'm going to say night, no matter what. This is all reality. This is what many people are kind of dubbing the preview of the championship game, and I can definitely see it. It's going to be off the walls crazy. I really hope St. Louis is 100%. I really, really hope St. Louis is 100%, because my prediction is that the Birmingham Stallions will win a nail-biter, and then St. Louis will redeem it in the championship game. Am I hoping for good vibes while I'm in St. Louis for the championship game? Yes, this is all selfish. I'm a selfish man. It's all about me, folks. I don't know what part of this you haven't understood up until now, but that's what I'm hoping for. A great game against two fantastic teams. Other things to look forward to this weekend. Has DC righted the ship? They looked way better, especially on defense, in Week 6. If they can continue this run into Week 7 and maybe make a run for the playoffs, this team has the potential, has the roster to be very, very dangerous. Other things to look forward to. I hope that I'm not yelling my voice out when it comes to teams just with their bad play calling. I'm looking at you, Houston. Sometimes San Antonio frustrates me so much because they can be so good. But damn it, sometimes that play calling is just... But I'm not going to yell my voice out this weekend. That's the hope. Other than that, John DeFilippo, I want to see if he turns into a real tomato this week, with Memphis being extremely frustrating and him just not... He's trying, but he gets so red. And it's so funny when he gets so red. I love the man, but it's very funny when he gets red. And finally, my prediction. My one prediction of this week. Case Cookus in the Memphis Showboats versus Arlington Renegades game. Case Cookus will almost die, but before he does, a Case Cookus Terminator from the future will come down, save him, and propel the Memphis Showboats to a victory in Saturday on overtime. Damn it! I said it wrong. I don't care. I'm sticking with it because that's how crazy, that's the craziest thing that can happen for the Arlington Renegades to lose, and they're going to lose in the craziest, dumbest way possible. That's what I'm calling it. That's my prediction. I love you guys. Damn it. Thank you all for watching the UFL show. I'm going fucking crazy. I love you guys. I'm going to see you next time for more UFL action. Let's have a great fucking week.